name is Jennifer. I've been a crafter since I was a kid, and I'm still crafting as an adult. It's really hard to choose what craft is my favorite, but currently I'm knitting. And beside me is my dog Tula. She loves to snuggle on the couch, whatever I'm working on. I started working on this particular knitting project a couple weeks ago. This is me in the early stages of working on it. It is a Star Wars themed pillowcase. And if you're familiar with Star Wars, you can see the blue and white. And what character is blue and white in Star Wars? R2-D2. So I started this project with high hopes. I was working on Intarsia knitting for the first time, and I didn't really realize how complex this type of project could be. I found this project in a Star Wars Knitting the Galaxy official Star Wars knitting pattern book. It's a book that I got from the library, and it's by Tanis Gray, as well as other designers. When I found this book at the library, I knew I had to pick it up and make at least one of the projects from it. So I was excited to start working on this pillow project. In the notes for the project, it says that you can do stranded color work or Intarsia, as well as using duplicate stitch for some of the design elements. So me being naive and never having done Intarsia, I figured it would be easy and I would look it up on YouTube, find a video, and just go with it. But it didn't work out that way. Here I'm showing you some of the areas that the stranded color work and Intarsia, I was doing both, and it was really hard. So any Star Wars fan would probably recognize this as the body and the head of R2-D2. As I just showed you in the last clip, I had done a couple of rows that included his, I think it's an eyepiece that sticks out on the one side. And I was trying to avoid doing duplicate stitch where you essentially embroider over top of your knitting. I wasn't wanting to do duplicate stitch. So I tried doing a combination of Intarsia and stranded color work. So after looking at a picture of R2-D2, the black part of the knitting is actually something that sticks out from his body anyways. So adding a duplicate stitch on top of the knitting is kind of going to make sense. So I took out the last two rows and I'm going to restart that part of the head. And essentially this is going to be a pillow. This will be the front of the pillow. Now I am following a pattern from a book that I got at the library. It's all Star Wars knitting. So I'm not going to share the whole pattern, but this is where I've gotten so far. And so I'm just going to go back and do those last couple rows, and they're going to end up having embroidery on top of them. So today I have Tula with me on the couch, and I'm actually surprised that she didn't get up off the couch when I started talking to the camera, because she gets weirded out when I'm talking and there's nobody else in the house, so she thinks I'm talking to her. But today she is staying with me up here while I knit, and I wanted to let you know who I'm watching on YouTube. And currently I'm watching Real Vintage Doll's House. She does videos about the 1940s specifically, but she just reached 100,000 subscribers. So I'm enjoying her video for today while I'm doing my knitting with Tula. So back to voiceover Jennifer. Here I'm showing you the duplicate stitch that I was working on after finishing the entirety of the front panel. I thought that the duplicate stitch would be perfect for these sections because they stick out from the body of R2D2. Well, in actuality, when you're doing duplicate stitch, it really doesn't stick out from the knitting all that much, if at all. So much for that thinking. But I was working on the stitching and I wasn't entirely happy with working stitches upwards. Any stitches that were going from side to side, they were laying flat, they were imitating the knitting underneath. But when I tried to do the stitches working up, as in with this white stitching, the stitches just weren't lying flat like I wanted them to. And my perfectionist brain was like, this is not working out. So even though I had done the entirety of the front panel and I went back to do the duplicate stitching, and I did actually complete the duplicate stitching, I ended up deciding that I didn't really like it. And so I ended up going back and starting all over again. And this is me doing the duplicate stitching in the red section. I had decided that the red would look nice as duplicate stitch. So I took out the stranded red stitches and did them in duplicate. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. And as I mentioned previously, because I'm working from left to right and then right to left, these portions of duplicate stitching were suiting my taste for how they were looking a lot like the knitted stitch, the regular knitted stitch. So as I finish up today, I want to thank you for watching my video. This is my first attempt at a crafting video and a long form video, as well as one of my first attempts at doing editing of videos for quite a while. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll join me next time as I continue with this knitting project, and hopefully we'll be able to get it finished. It is already a belated birthday gift. However, I think the person who is receiving the gift will still appreciate it whether or not it's on time. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time.